Hi guys, welcome back or welcome to Dreamworks Switch to Life, and in today's video we're going to be discussing every single project that Dreamworks is coming out with in the coming months. With that in mind, there's actually a lot that's coming out this month, so without further ado, let's talk about it. Our first movie that Dreamworks is going to come out with is Dogman, which won't be released until January 31st, 2025. But luckily, it actually looks really good. Which I honestly cannot believe that this movie is not animated by Dreamworks Animation. It's actually animated by a completely different studio, Jellyfish Pictures. However, Dreamworks still owns the rights to this movie. Since they bought the rights, they just passed off the animation to Jellyfish Pictures. But with that in mind, I'm actually pretty excited for this movie. Nowhere near as excited as I was for The Wild Robot, but still. The next movie that I want to talk about isn't actually being made at all from Dreamworks Animation, but it is based off one of their properties. That, of course, is the live-action How to Train Your Dragon remake. We don't have long to wait until we get a first look, at least according to actor Mason Thames. Speaking of, I'm excited for this movie because it already looks like it has an amazing cast, including Gerard Butler reprising his role as Stoic, not to mention writer and director Dean DeBlois returning, as well as composer John Powell, so I'm actually really excited. The one thing that I am worried about is what will the dragons look like, which again, we won't have long to wait for according to the actor Mason Thames. But with that in mind, the movie will be released on June 13th, 2025, just a couple of months before our first mainline Dreamworks movie, which means Dreamworks will be animating it themselves in-house alongside Sony Pictures Imageworks. But the movie that I'm talking about is The Bad Guys 2, which will be released on August 1st, 2025. If you want, I made a prediction video that you can check out in the description down below, but with that in mind, I also want to point out that rumor has it, again, just a rumor, that there's also going to be a Bad Guys short film called Little Lies and Alibis, which again is rumored to be released theatrically, so most likely with the film Dogman, but it could also be released with the actual film The Bad Guys 2. However, there is also the possibility that it will just become a Blu-ray and DVD exclusive and could be released with the Blu-ray release of The Wild Robot. Or maybe the short film doesn't even exist. Again, it's just a rumor. So with that in mind, I think that The Bad Guys 2 is actually one of my most anticipated sequels. However, my most anticipated sequel is our next movie, Shrek 5. And I cannot wait for this movie to be released on July 1st, 2026. But that's still a long ways to wait, so at this point in time, we don't know a lot about the movie, aside from the fact that it will have returning actors Mike Myers, Eddie Murphy, and Cameron Diaz as Shrek, Donkey, and Fiona, and it's also possible that they could have the actors of Puss in Boots, Kitty Softpaws, and Perrito reprise their roles from Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. And speaking of, I'm pretty sure that this movie will actually have the same animation style as The Last Wish, because that animation style is really popular, especially in The Wild Robot. While that does mean that this movie will be a mainline film, that sadly means that it will also be a collaboration with Sony Pictures Imageworks. However, I'm still very excited for this movie. Unfortunately, I wish I could say the same about our next movie, Gabby's Dollhouse, the movie, which will be released on September 26, 2025. So the film is going to be about Gabby going on a big city adventure in Cat San Francisco, and she loses the dollhouse to a crazy cat lady and has to go around the city trying to track down the Gabby cats. This will be Dreamworks' very first live-action animation hybrid film, which most likely means that it's going to be an outsourced movie, and it's probably going to be outsourced to the same company who makes the TV show. They'll just be given a higher budget so the animation looks good. Speaking of, it's time that we talk about the TV show. The Gabby's Dollhouse TV show has been renewed for a whopping total of 100 episodes, and right now we're only at episode 70, so we still have a few more seasons left to go. if they insist on releasing them in 6-episode batches. If I had to guess, I would say that it's likely season 11 and possibly 12 and maybe even 13 will be released in 2025. Luckily, we have plenty of shows to tide us over until then, including the Bad Guys Halloween special, The Bad Guys Haunted Heist, which from what I gather means that it most likely takes place the Halloween before the bad guys go good. And because of that, that means it also takes place before the Christmas special, The Bad Guys in a Very Bad Holiday. The short film will be released on October 3rd, 2024. And who knows, maybe eventually we'll get a Bad Guys TV show. Probably not before the sequel releases in theaters, but maybe afterwards. We also have a brand new TV show called Mighty MonsterWheelies, which is a preschool series about monster trucks. It seems like this is going to be another Paw Patrol clone, but anyway, it will be released on October 14th, 2024. Luckily, that's not the only TV show coming to Netflix, as we're also getting Season 2 of Jurassic World Chaos Theory. While we don't know the episode count for Mighty MonsterWheelies, we do know that Season 2 of Chaos Theory is going to have 10 episodes, just like the first season. And all 10 episodes are going to be released on October 17th, 2024. So feel free to check out my review of the first season in the description down below. And with that, that's all of the TV shows that are actually confirmed to get renewed. As to the TV shows that could possibly get renewed, we have Go Dog Go Season 5. And no, that's not actually confirmed, that's just speculation on my part, but I do believe that we could see Season 5 of Go Dog Go, and it will most likely have a runtime equivalent of 12 episodes. As for when it would release, I'm not actually sure. The way I see it, it could be released sometime in November or maybe even December, or it could be in 2025. Or again, it's just speculation that it's happening, so we might not even be getting a Season 5. With that in mind, we also have Dewdrop Diaries, which is actually a show that got its last season in December 2023. And because of that, it's possible we could be getting a Season 3. The question is when, because as of right now, we don't have any renewal status whatsoever. In fact, it's likely that this show might not even get a Season 3. The same thing can be said about Not Quite Narwhal because, well, Not Quite Narwhal and Dewdrop Diaries both have reached the end of their production phases, an equivalent of 26 episodes. With that in mind, it's up to viewership as to whether or not Netflix renews the series. And unfortunately, at this point in time, we still don't have any renewal status for either show. Unfortunately, we come to a bad part of the video because I want to talk about a TV show called Voltron Legendary Defender, which is sadly leaving Netflix on December 7th, 2024. It's a reboot of the classic 1984 TV show Voltron Defender of the Universe, and in my opinion, is far superior. It has 78 episodes, all of which are leaving Netflix on December 7th, 2024, so you have plenty of time to go and watch the series for yourself, and I highly recommend that you do. But back to some good news, we also have Kung Fu Panda 4, which is going to both be leaving Peacock, but also coming to Netflix on October 21st, 2024. If you want, you can check out my review for Kung Fu Panda 4 in the description down below, and you can also check out some predictions that I have for Kung Fu Panda 5, which, no, Kung Fu Panda 5 has not been officially confirmed yet, it's just a rumor. But with that in mind, this is the time to watch Kung Fu Panda 4. If you have a Peacock subscription, go and watch it before it leaves for Netflix. If you have a Netflix subscription, be sure to watch it on October 21st, 2024. Speaking of, let's move over to our next streaming service, Peacock. As of right now, Peacock, and by extension Hulu, have only one TV show that is still going to this day, and that is Fright Crew. As of right now, we don't know if this show will be renewed for Season 3, and I'm honestly surprised that it doesn't have a Season 3 October release date. With that in mind, does that mean that Fright Crew Season 3 isn't going to happen? Maybe, and also maybe not. It could be that season 3 is in production, but it won't be ready in time for an October release. But with that in mind, it could also be that there is no season 3. We don't actually know, and we'll have to wait and see to find out. Speaking of horror-based TV shows, I also want to talk about the live-action Casper the Friendly Ghost series, which isn't actually confirmed yet. So right now it's still in the middle of development, which at this point most likely means that it won't be coming until 2025 or maybe 2026. Speaking of, we also have Dreamworks' latest movie, The Wild Robot, which I highly recommend that you go see in theaters. If you want, feel free to check out my review in the description down below to see just how good this movie is. Unfortunately, if you don't want to go to theaters, you can wait for it to come to streaming on Peacock, most likely sometime in January 2025, and then 4 months after that, it will come to Netflix. With that in mind, it's time to move on to our final streaming service. Right now, Apple TV Plus only has one show that's still going, and that is Curses. And thankfully, it actually got a Season 2 renewal for October 4th, 2024. Yes, you heard that right. This Friday, we're going to see Season 2 of Curses come exclusively to Apple TV Plus. We also have another TV show in development called Brick, which will at least get one season with 13 episodes on Apple TV Plus. Unfortunately, we don't know when it's coming, and at this point in time, I think it's not going to happen in 2024. With that in mind, let's move away from TV shows and movies and talk about the video games. While we don't really have any Dreamworks games coming out, we do have an exclusive DLC pack for a game called PowerWash Simulator, which is available on consoles and PC, and the DLC is focused on Shrek. You can literally go around washing Shrek's swamp. Unfortunately, to play it, you have to buy the base game and the DLC, so 2 separate payments, but I actually recommend that you do, because for some reason, I got the base game, I've been playing it, and it's very relaxing. It's actually really cool. Anyway, the Shrek DLC is going to release on October 10th, 2024, so be sure to check it out when it does. We also have a completely different video game. This one is actually coming to Roblox, and it's called Kung Fu Panda Hero Showdown. Unfortunately, the game is still in beta testing, so while you can play it, you do have to pay actual money to do it. Eventually, however, it will be made available for free to the general public. I also want to talk about an art book called The Art of Dogman, which is supposedly going to include a bunch of concept art used to create the Dogman movie coming to theaters this January. The book is going to release over a month earlier on December 10th, 2024, which I find to be a little weird, but okay. And the final thing that I want to talk about is Universal Epic Universe, and when it opens in 2025, we're going to get an entire land dedicated to How to Train Your Dragon called the Isle of Berk, and it will include fun experiences. Unfortunately, it won't open until sometime in 2025. However, I do think that we'll get more information about it during the New York Comic-Con panel on October 19th. But with that in mind, that's it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and to recap, here are all of the projects that are coming out soon. The Bad Guys Haunted Heist, a Halloween special that will be coming on October 3rd, 2024 to Netflix. We also have Curses Season 2, which will come to Apple TV Plus on October 4th, 2024. This will be followed by the Shrek DLC pack for a video game called PowerWash Simulator, which you can get on all consoles and PC on October 10th, 2024. This will be followed by Mighty MonsterWheelies, which will come to Netflix on October 14th, 2024, followed by Season 2 of Jurassic World Chaos Theory, which will have 10 episodes releasing on October 17th, 2024 on Netflix. We also have Kung Fu Panda 4, which will be leaving Peacock and going to Netflix on October 21st, 2024. Finally, bad news is we also have Voltron Legendary Defender, which will be leaving Netflix on December 7th, 2024. And then there will be The Art of Dogman, which will be released on December 10th, 2024, over a month before the actual film releases on January 31st, 2025. This will be followed by the live-action How to Train Your Dragon remake, which will be released on June 13th, 2025. And then we have The Bad Guys 2, which will be released on August 1st, 2025, before we have Gabby's Dollhouse, the movie, coming out a month later on September 26th, 2025. And the last project that we have is Shrek 5, with a release date of July 1st, 2026. But which of these projects are you most excited for? Make sure to leave your thoughts down below in the comment section, and also be sure to support me through my membership program, which you can find on my channel page or by clicking the join button down below. I have 3 separate tiers. You can do the 99 cents, $5, or $10 tier, and you get exclusive perks, which is really good. Or you can just do the free option and subscribe. With that in mind, I hope that we can get this channel to 1,000 subscribers by the time 2024 is over, and if not, by the time Dogman releases in theaters. With that goal in mind, I hope that you're all staying safe out there, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye bye.
Not so spooky with the lights on.